we haven't talked to anyone that has had the pitch com and going back. Do you have the preference of the pitch com versus the old fashioned put the fingers down?
I would say I would say no. Like I don't like the wrist one,
Hmm.
but we had one that was in our cap at Fresno State, and I did like that one because you don't have to like look away or look. You don't have to look down. You don't have to wait to get the sign. It's kind of like so you make your pitch, you get that ball back, you can walk around the rubber, you get that fastball in, and then you get on the mound and it's go time. Rather than you have to slow the game down a little bit more when you're getting with the signs, which isn't a problem. It's just that it's a little different.
He gets it high in the air. Left field. This one's got a chance. And let's go on a cowhide. Joyride. Sound the horn. The RailCats clear the yard.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the RailCats Talk podcast. He's Chuck Polarek. I'm Kyle Svetich, and we have a player interview today. Jaykob Acosta, how we doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. I know you mentioned that you for working and you're in California, so you're in a 2 hour time difference than we are. How's your off season been like so far?
It's been good. I kind of had a little break after my season, my college season, and then we hopped right back into the RailCats, and then I had a little break, but then kind of just like back to baseball kind of thing, back to throwing, make sure you feel good, stuff like that.
Before we get into the RailCats and everything like that, you played. So you have 5 years in college. Was that because of COVID?
Yeah, my freshman year, I was at Bakersfield,
Mhm.
and we played, I think, maybe 3 weeks, and then COVID happened. We shut down the whole season, so we all got that year back.
The You went from Bakersfield to Fresno State. What was the jump between the two?
So I was at Bakersfield my first 3 years, and so that's in the Big West. Yeah, so I joined my freshman year. We were supposed to play in the WAC,
Hmm.
which is the West Side Athletic Conference, and then we got COVID happening, and then we made the big jump to the Big West. We played there for 2 years, and then I transferred over to Fresno State, which is in the Mountain West.
What was your college experience like? What was something that you enjoyed from it, and what's something that you were like, I kind of care less about?
So obviously, I enjoy my teammates probably the most. For my time at Bakersfield, and then even my time at Fresno State, I was only Fresno State 2 years. So just being every day in the locker room with the guys, you kind of just grow close to each other. So it was tough, like making that jump from Bakersfield to Fresno State, because I didn't want to leave there's like some of my better friends. And I was like, hey guys, like I got to move on to Fresno State, and that was kind of tough. Um, but I'm happy I did it. I really enjoyed it. In terms of something I could care less about, honestly, I can't really think of anything
That,
that like negative really right now.
no, that's not there are some people that are like full of like, yeah, this, and then like, oh, I hated that. So if you enjoyed your college experience, then hey, that's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah, I
wrong
had a
with
good
that
time.
one. So that's
Yeah.
that's a positive. There's a positive things there. So after Fresno State, after you get done, you said you had a short break. What were the conversations, or I mean, how did stumbling across the RailCats come about? I mean, obviously, did you get in contact with Lamar, or did Lamar get in contact with you? How did that all transpire that ended you ultimately with Gary?
Uh-huh. So obviously in the season, and then you have the whole draft process and people in the draft, and then so I was trying to find somewhere to play like in between. So then the draft happens, and then after the draft, it's kind of people that don't get drafted. It's kind of like, oh, like I need a spot. So then teams fill up pretty like really quick.
Mhm.
So like even in the independent ball, you know, teams are full by that time. So I was working with my high school coach at the time. He has a good friend. His name's Bill Guyvet, and he was helping me out, reaching out to some independent teams, different leagues. I had interest from a few teams, and then it was kind of just like, okay, like we're looking to clear a spot. We don't have it right now. And then it kind of just happened to where Lamar calls me on what was it, a Friday, and he's like, hey, we got a spot for you. can you fly out in the morning? So, I flew out that Saturday, I want to say, or maybe Sunday. Got there. I think they were playing Cleburne, and then I signed my contract, and I was on the way to what, Lake Bottom? Is that what it is?
Lake Country.
Yeah, Lake Country. I was in
Yep.
Lake Country that next day, suited up, like quick.
We should change the name to Lake Bottom though. I like
Yeah,
that.
I like that one. That's a good one.
It's a good one for there.
So speaking of Lake Country, you made your RailCats debut on August 21st. You pitched one inning. You struck out two in that one inning. Is there anything that you remember from that debut?
I remember. So I got hot. I want to say like middle of the game, like maybe the third, fourth inning, maybe. And I was like, okay, like we're getting ready to go in. And he sat me down and got who did he get up? I forget. He got someone else up, and they went in the game. I was like, okay, well maybe I won't get in this game. I'll get in maybe next game. I think he goes an inning, and then all right, Acosta's back up. So it's kind of just like I was there. I was already there for 2 days. Kind of just waiting, for your opportunity, and then says get up, get down. So it's kind of just like a high low, but once you go in there, it's kind of just like you black out in a way, like you forget. So I mean, all I remember is just like the highs and lows of it, but it was fun. It was a good experience. Good way to get my feet wet in that situation.
Yeah, the game was basically out of hand at that point. At that point, it was like 10-0.
Yeah.
Nate Alexander was in before you, and then you came in on top of that. Lamar likes to play the numbers game a lot with the pitchers, so a lot of times I probably expect a lot of pitchers get up to get warm, and then just something happens and they go down on that front of it. But obviously, you only played in 7 games, or you pitched in 8 innings, or just over 8, just under 9. Realistically, I mean, Lake Country was the easiest one out of, I put quotations around that, easiest out of the ones that you faced. But what was the competition like from college to American Association?
I'd say there's for sure like a little bit of a change. I think it's a little helpful because like you go from I'm facing guys with metal to wood, and like for me it kind of plays a little bit more in my favor because like I got like a sinker, my sink guy. So if I bust a guy in college, he could flare one over shore, he could flare one over there. His bat's gonna be fine. It's gonna go like a little bit of a way, but pro ball wise, in like Gary, you bust a guy inside, his bat's broken. That's not leaving the infield. But hitter wise, I mean, they're looking for their pitches. No matter where you're at, you can't get behind in counts. Otherwise, something's gonna hurt you. So I kind of just like, I wouldn't say there's like a huge jump, but it's just like making sure you do the small things right. I mean, wherever you're at.
What got you into baseball?
Well, I started T-ball when I was 3, and then I was 3-sport athlete all the way into high school. But we have a minor league team. It was high A, now it's low A. Up here in my backyard. So I live in Exeter, California. Visalia, California is the next town over, about 10 minutes. So I grew up going to those games, watching those guys. We had like Scherzer come through, Bauer came through, Jake Lamb, Jazz Chisholm, those guys. So I love ever since like watching those like future big leaguers play. I kind of just fell in love with it. I just loved baseball forever.
What made you decide to pitch?
I originally went to Bakersfield on a 2-way, and then when I got there, I couldn't backspin a baseball. I'm top spinning everything. So they're like, hey, probably gonna have to pick here. Which one? Like, we think you're probably gonna be a better pitcher than you are a hitter. We're not pushing you to do it, but if that's something you're comfortable with, then we think you should go full go with that. So he kind of gave me the option, but I was like, hey, like realistically, my future is going to be pitching. Let me focus on pitching solely and see where we go from there. So probably my freshman year of college.
And what position did you play when you were out there on the field?
Short. I played shortstop.
Yeah.
Infield. Yeah, they tried to move me to the outfield, and just that corner outfield spot when it with stuff slicing on you, it wasn't for me. Yeah.
Yeah, those aren't the easiest balls to read sometimes.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
So,
When you got to the steel yard, right, and you're making your pro debut in Lake Country, uh, before you get out there, you got anything crazy running through your mind? Any doubts, any worries, anything like that? Or are you just like, hey, this is just another day of baseball?
Yeah, no, really no doubts. I know a lot of guys we're in the bullpen all the time, but I was like, hey, like just treat it like it's any other game. I'm like like I'm coming off of I'm still in like um what's it game mode,
mhm.
obviously from even though I had a little gap for college, I was still like in that zone. It wasn't like I was off for a while and then trying to turn it on. But yeah, no, never any doubt, especially as a reliever. You don't have the luxury of being like, oh, like what if something doesn't go right here? It's like you're coming in to fix that stuff. You're
Yep.
not you shouldn't be thinking like, oh, like what if I come in and this doesn't go right? Like you're usually coming in a situation where your job is to take care of that.
When you get up there on the mound, I know that there's different mentalities or different ways people look at their pitching. When you're pitching to a batter, are you looking at the batter and trying to figure out what you can throw at him that uh, he isn't going to hit? Or are you not paying attention to the batter and you're going up there saying, this is my best stuff, this is what I'm coming?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. It depends on your hitter, I'd say. Um, I mean, there's certain guys you learn whether you have watched film on them or you face them enough. You're like, like where you got to like some guys have zones, you like don't throw it there. Or some guys are hitting the breaking ball pretty well in that month. So you just kind of just like playing. It's like playing the game, like it's a little bit of push and pull, and at the same time, it's like I got to trust what my catcher's seen. I know G and I know he likes to call his game and make sure like he's got whatever he sees. I'm kind of going to trust. He's been around the block, so that's kind of what it is. It's like if I really want to throw something in a certain count, then I'll shake to it. But it's kind of just like trusting and just reading swings. Whether it's game to game or at bat to at bat.
Do you think does the game change any between the college level and the professional level when it comes to those catchers and their knowledge?
I would say so, yeah, for sure. Because college, a lot of the times now, we're on pitch comm, so we got our pitching coach telling the catcher, what they're putting down. At Fresno State, though, our pitching coach spent so much time, going over so much game film. It's kind of like he's putting it down, like you're trusting that 100% because he's seen, we watch film, but not even close to enough what his name's Buck, what Buck's watched. And so, catchers kind of just like going along with what the pitch comm is, what they're saying, but professional wise, that it's that catcher's job. They understand it, and it's something they've learned to do.
That brings up an interesting point about the pitch comm. So, did you use in your 5 years in college? Did you use pitch comm your entire 5 years, or
No,
was
it's
it more?
my last two.
Last two. Okay, so I'm guessing it wasn't a big shell shock when you went into Gary and they went back down to the fingers instead of being there in your ear.
No, but surprisingly, it was kind of like, okay, I'm not getting my pitch to my wrist. It's kind of like a little bit. I was like, okay, like I remember this because it was 2 years, but I was like, okay, like this is what it is. It was kind of funny.
We haven't talked to anyone that has had the pitch comm and going back. Do you have the preference of the pitch comm versus the old fashioned put the fingers down?
I would say no. Like I don't like the wrist one,
Mm-hmm.
but we had one that was in our cap at Fresno State, and I did like that one because you don't have to like look away or look. You don't have to look down. You don't have to wait to get the sign. It's kind of like so you make your pitch, you get that ball back. You can walk around the rubber. You get that fastball in, and then you get on the mound, and it's go time. Rather than you have to slow the game down a little bit more when you're getting with the signs, which isn't a problem. It's just that it's a little different.
Did you have to deal with the pitch clock in college? Okay.
Yeah.
I was just
That
I know
was
that they started trickling some of that stuff down. So, uh, does the pitch clock does it help you stay in a rhythm, or how does your approach with the pitch clock?
pitch clock. I kind of like, I don't pay too much mind to it. Um, I mean, it's there kind of just to keep the game along. That way, there's no like long.
Hmm.
Well, who's the like Pedro? Was it Pedro Baez, the Dodgers guy, who would
Yeah.
take like a minute in between? It's kind of stuff like that. Um, but in the scheme of things, like it's usually you got plenty of time to kind of just go. There's no like necessarily a rhythm to it. Kind of just go as you feel.
I know you mentioned you're a sinker ball kind of guy. What other pitches are in your rotation that you use?
Yeah, so I'll go two seam, four seam, um, and then slider change. I did have a curveball in college, but when I went to Gary, it was kind of just like I was only there for 14 games, and I didn't necessarily have amazing feel with the curveball. And I didn't want to go in there with a like mediocre pitch. So coming into next season, I'll probably have the curveball down more. So, but for the most part, it's sinker, change, slider, and then curveball.
What'd you think of the professional ball player lifestyle that you get going to Gary, traveling around, hanging out with the guys? I'm sure you probably had a host family when you were in town, or stayed at the apartments or whatever. What'd you
Mm-hmm.
think of that?
It was nice not to have to in that back of your mind. You're like, oh, like I got some schoolwork to do. I got to make sure I'm free from this period to this period for class. So that part of it's really nice. You just focus on baseball. I mean, because I mean it is your job now, which is nice to like know and like to know in the back of your head. I was only in Gary for I think 4 days
Hmm.
because I was there, spent the night, and then we were on the road for what 10 games, something like
Yeah, that
that.
was the back half where they went to Milwaukee, then Winnipeg, and
Yeah,
then came back.
yeah, but yeah, not having to worry about being somewhere else, just focusing on, hey, I'm here, I'm playing baseball. All I need to do is uh, play catch every day and lift weights. So that was nice. It's kind of relief.
So, kind of bringing a little bit to the 2025 season. I know it's almost Thanksgiving, but it's going to be right around the corner. Thankfully, we're tired of not having baseball. Uh, but when did the talks with Lamar to come back to Gary? When did those start?
So at the end of last season, um, we were saying our goodbyes to everyone, and Lamar was kind of asking me what I had plans for, my future and stuff like that. And he was like, he didn't say like 100%. He's like, you're coming back, but he was kind of like hinting at, like, if you still want to play, like, we'll stay in touch and stuff like that. So uh, that was cool. I mean, Lamar's a great dude. So if anything, you just got to talk to him. He's a good dude. So within, I think what I was off for maybe a month and a half before, he sent me that email and reached out saying, hey, uh, like we want to offer your contract and stuff like that. So it was fairly quick after the end of the season, he was kind of hinting at it, and then probably a month and a half later, he sends the contract for this
Nice.
upcoming season.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be pretty exciting for you, right?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice not having to, scramble last minute
Mhm.
to have, sort of a plan of action and stuff like that. So I'm happy to have it done early and definitely not later, where you're having multiple teams be like, hey, maybe you'll come in the Midwest, maybe you'll come to the East Coast, maybe you'll come to California. Knowing, where you're going to go is pretty nice.
Amongst those talks, it could be at the end of the year or when he offered you the contract. I know you have some time as a starter, but most of the time as a reliever. Uh, is there been talks about the role that you might potentially take with Gary this year? And is there a couple things that he might have mentioned you to maybe work on or you want to improve yourself in the off season?
In terms of like roles, he didn't tell me, we're going to look at you as a starter, we're going to look at your reliever. I think it's kind of just one of those things, come into camp, show us what you got, show us, you're meant to be, you're supposed to be here and stuff like that. Show us what you've worked on. And, for me, it's kind of just, making sure, I have, complete control of everything. Make sure I have good feel for my pitches and getting to where, I'm in throwing shape where, if I need to throw 50 pitches, if I need to throw 70 pitches in a game, I can. Or if, I'm only in there for an inning, be able to handle your business in that sense.
In the off season, there's a lot of pitchers that they take the winter off.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have a lot of pitchers that go to play winter ball where they're pitching some more, and then they have a small break, and then they're coming in and pitching somewhere else for a couple of months, and then they're back to, playing in the American Association or what have you. When you're in your off season now and going from school and stuff, I think even with colleges, you had summer teams that you could play for and stuff like that. Do you appreciate having the break, or are you the type of guy that just wants to, hey, throw me out there and let me keep pitching?
So it's kind of one of those things, like if you stop throwing, it's kind of, I'm never a guy where like I need to completely shut down throwing for a month or 2 months, because it's kind of a little harder when you start to tick up again. It's like takes a little longer. You gotta like throw through some things and figure stuff out like that, rather than if you just take like a week, 2 weeks, or just dial down your volume and intensity. That way you still have the feel that you want. Picking up a baseball, you still have your arm path, you still have things like that. So obviously like takes them a little bit of time off like slope in that sense. But I'm starting to get back off slope just to have that feel. So that way when it's time to go, you're not figuring out, okay, my release point's here. Maybe I'm a little too arm side here. And just controlling, your intensity and your volume to where you're not overthrowing, you're not underthrowing, kind of something like that in the off season.
Do you have any goals that you're wanting to set for yourself in 2025, or are you just gonna go out there and just pitch to pitch and not worry about any outside noise like looking to get picked up by affiliate ball or whatever the case may be? Is there any goals that you have for that, or you just there to pitch?
Well, of course there's that, but it's like you have to take care of business. Like you can't go into anywhere thinking, hey, if I do this, then I'm gonna get this reward, kind of thing. It's kind of just like go in every day, handle your business, and if you're good enough, if you've done things the right way, think better things are to come. So that's kind of like the way I approach things. I don't really get too caught up in reaching and overstriding for things, and I also don't get like, oh, I can't believe this. I also don't get like super negative. And it's something that I've learned over the years, especially as a pitcher. You just got to stay neutral. Keep your neutral thinking, control the things you can control, and it's every day you go out there, it's a new day. It's something that you need to take care of and handle your business.
When you're out, speaking of that, when you're out there on the mound and you're just having one of those crap days, how do you mentally be able to reel that back and kind of get back in control?
Yeah, everyone has those days. I think it's just trying your best to control your breathing. Usually when things get out of hand, people start to like kind of go. So it's take that deep breath. find your release, whatever that is, if it's kicking dirt, if it's, pounding your glove, finding your focal point on the foul pole or stuff like that. It's just, trying your best to, flush, all that, negative thinking or, negative events, and try your best to get to that next pitch, tell someone, if things aren't going right, you need them to pick you up. You know what I mean? Like, you get that, I'm gonna get a ground ball here. I need you to pick me up here. Something like that.
Chuck, do you have any more questions before I start asking
Oh,
a little bit more questions? But then the final one
oh,
that always gets everyone all the time. I don't know
oh,
why.
hey, I appreciate you being on here with us. And, the end of the last year was kind of a rough year, but I'm hoping having you on the team at the beginning lifts us up a little bit here and we get on the right path. So thank you.
Yeah. Looking
So
forward to it.
so two questions. One question is, who was your role model in baseball?
Well, Tim Lincecum for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I will ask the final question. What is a fun fact about yourself?
Fun fact. Um, Fun fact about myself. It doesn't get everyone, doesn't
It does.
it? I think I don't know if it's like really a fact about myself, but something really cool is I was at the game where Madison Bumgarner hit a grand slam, and then
Oh,
Buster Posey also hit a grand slam. So it might not be might be cheating a little bit, but that's something pretty cool, to
I mean,
experience something like that.
in my eyes, that's a fun fact because you were there in the stadium when it happens, and
Yeah,
not a
that's
lot of people get that opportunity, and that's a big one, especially when a pitcher and a catcher both hit a grand slam in the same game. More or less
yeah.
the pitcher than the catcher, but still, that's uh that's exciting. Thank you again, Jacob, for joining us, spending some time out of your day to hop on to the podcast, and for hopefully RailCats fans to get to know you a little bit better and don't have that awkward feeling of just saying out your number or giving someone a random name like Benjamin Button to call out to play some inside joke between Chuck and I on that portion of it. But we know that you will put in the hard work. You have past 5 years in college put in the hard work to get yourself to where you're at now. We just hope to see you succeed on the mound, if that's with Gary, and if it's only for 2 weeks, and next thing you know, you're an affiliate ball. That's awesome. That's what we strive for. So we're excited to watch you another year in the maroon and green, if it's all year, if it's some of the year. But we really do look forward for the 2025 season to see you on the mound. So we appreciate your time and your efforts, and can't wait to see you on the mound.
All right, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's nice meeting you guys. You guys go to the games? I'm assuming.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
Everyone,
well,
Everyone, well, my schedule kind of changed this year, but Chuck, he will be there razzing everyone. No worries. We're normally on the first base side right there, so
okay, okay.
we'll definitely be around, and the more that we get familiar with everyone, it's easier to have those kind of conversations. So maybe I'll trickle out to the bullpen once in a while and say hi.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, look forward to seeing you guys in person.
yeah, I was a host family last year. We had Geo and LG.
Okay,
And
nice.
I think I made 49 games last year at home out of the 50. So had shoulder surgery, and the day that I had shoulder surgery, I still showed up to the game. I was numbed up, so it was so yeah, we're typically razzing whoever's at first base, sitting there next to the away team, giving them a hard time.
Perfect.
All the fun stuff. So
Yep. Well, like I said, we're looking forward to it, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
All right,
thank you.
appreciate you guys.
And that'll wrap up this week's episode. Again, thank you, Jacob, for jumping on about 30 minutes or so of your day. We do appreciate that. I hope you RailCats fans enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you're watching this, and go Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.